This is me, Karoline, right before I'm running my first 5K in 2024, running in 1902. Okay, but you're probably super confused because you clicked on this video thinking that I used to hate running. And that's the thing, I did used to hate running. The only thing I thought about was how tiresome running was. And it was going to be over. And I promised myself that I would never run again after my last running test in high school. And now I have run 2 marathons and I'm actually aiming for the 2028 Olympics in the marathon. So now you're thinking, how? What changed? So in this video, I'm going to explain how to start running as a beginner. And because I value your time, I have timestamps, so check them out below and feel free to skip to the part you value the most.
So the first step in starting your running journey is really going to be to know your why. And the reason why this is so important is because when you're going to get unmotivated, you need to know why running is actually helping you, because otherwise you are going to come up with so many excuses as far as why you're not going to do it. For example, you've had such a long and hard day at work, you already strength trained, you are not a runner, you have never been a runner, it just isn't for you. So it is in our nature to come up with excuses when we don't understand or when we don't truly believe that something is benefiting us. So this is what happened to me. I would convince myself that this just wasn't sustainable for me to run. And it's first now when I really truly do believe that running is awesome for my health, and I really do believe that I am a great runner, that's when I start to show up for every single run, even the ones that are really hard, even on the days when I am unmotivated, because at the end of the day, I know that I'm not trying to overtrain. I'm not trying to punish my body. I am truly trying to make myself the best version of me. I cannot emphasize enough the importance of knowing your why. So this is something as a coach, I always start off with asking my clients. So a lot of my clients actually have the goal of just being healthy and fit their whole life. And that's why they really started running. And then completing a marathon, even being competitive with their times, that is kind of a bonus. And those are the clients that I also see that don't struggle with executing their runs when they are unmotivated. So I just really highly recommend that you dig deep as far as why it is your goal and write it down. And then the power affirmations, so write it down and then have it visible so that especially when you have had a long day at work, you have it written out and you know exactly what to tell yourself in that moment when these excuses come up. The next step is having a plan. So we all know the saying, failing to plan is planning to fail. So especially in the beginning, right, you're motivated. And then as you become unmotivated, as you become more tired, maybe you've slept poorly, again, a stressful day at work, that's when it becomes particularly important to have a plan. And to have a plan that accounts for being more tired. And also, if you have a good training plan, it isn't going to leave you feeling exhausted. It's going to leave you feeling often energized. And then even when you have periods where you are pushing the training a little bit more, you know that maybe a deload or recovery week is coming the following week. And that also makes it so much easier to persevere through that harder week. So if you're completely new to running, I do have a completely free running plan. So I'll leave a link in the description for that. And I also do sell marathon training plans. So I have 3 different levels. So also take a look at them. I'll also put the discount code where you get 20% off for those. What's really important with a plan is that you make sure that you're not just going for, whatever free training plan is out there. So that includes mine, although I will say my free training plan is for someone who is just completely new to running. So it basically just starts off with 5 minutes of running every 3 days. And the key about that plan is it's going to feel pretty easy in the beginning. You're going to be like, I can do way more than that. And that is actually the point, because I want you to just build that habit of running and just gradually making your body more used to running. And then as you have that consistency and it doesn't feel too hard, that's also when we can start adding more running, but in a sustainable way. So, and then for my marathon training plans, it's just really important that you look at the who is this for page to make sure that you are purchasing the right plan. And that's also what I would say if you're going for another plan out there. Make sure that you really trust the person that you are purchasing the plan from, and that that person knows what he or she is talking about. Things to reflect on is what training method you want to follow. So for example, I train on heart rate. So my training is going to be on heart rate. And that is because I'm not there to constantly be testing your pace. So I don't know what pace is going to be the correct for you. But if you get a VO2 max test and you calculate your training zones, you can make sure that you are training correctly despite not constantly being testing your pace. And then another thing that I'd say is important to pay attention to is whether it's on distance or time. So my training plans are all on time, not distance. And that is because really the distance you cover is really going to depend on your training level. So a lot of people, when they're new to running, right, they aren't running fast if they're running at zone 2, and they often aren't covering that many miles. So by training on minutes, you just make sure that the training is more correct for you. So the next thing is if a coach is worth it. So personally, I think if you're completely new to running, I don't think the first step is to have a coach. I think the first step is just to really start off running super short and super slowly. So my free training plan is going to be a great place to start. This is just my honest opinion, even though I am a marathon training coach. So, but I will say if you are running 3 to 4 times per week, even 2 times per week, and you just don't really know anything about how to train, what zones to be in, and you haven't really seen much improvement, and you want to maybe sign up for a marathon, that's when a coach can be very helpful. You can expedite your learning process. You can make sure that you're not increasing too much too soon, and you can just overall see a quicker progress. And that's why I got a coach, and that's even why I've become a coach now, because I've learned so much and I really want to share all of that with my coaching clients. So I'm almost at my capacity, so just make sure that if coaching is something you're interested in, that you don't wait with it. And yeah, worst case, I'll just put you on my waiting list. So, but a coach can also just be really helpful for making sure that you are completing your runs. So as a coach, I'm constantly checking up on my athletes. I'm commenting on every single session. And, if they're not doing their workouts, then we're for sure going to fix that. You have someone to hold you accountable for following through on the workouts. So what pace should you run when you're starting to run? So honestly, when it comes to pace in the beginning, I would go slowly, but also you don't have to worry about going too slowly if that doesn't feel fun at all. So if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I'm all about heart rate training, and I really emphasize the importance of running super slow in zone 2 or even zone 1. But a lot of people won't find that enjoyable. And that is often because they are pretty recovered because they aren't having a lot of zone 4 running. So I'd say when you're completely new to running, don't worry too much about being in zone 2 or zone 4. Just go out and enjoy yourself. Make sure that it's fun. When you're feeling good one day, you can run a little bit faster. Don't overdo it. Just make sure it's fun so that you want to keep that habit and want to do it again. As far as distance goes, I'm just going to emphasize again that I recommend going on time, not on miles or kilometers. And this is just because we want the focus to be on enjoying the running and not trying to run, a PR in X amount of distance. So what I see a lot of people do is they go out for a 10K because they're like, oh my God, I feel so good. I just ran a 10K. And while it's super impressive that you can run 10 kilometers in a run, what often happens is you are really pushing it during those 10K, and then you feel really exhausted and you don't want to do that again because you are associating running with running and being tired for a long time. So that's why I would definitely recommend instead going on minutes and keeping the pace slower and just enjoying yourself again. So consistency is really what matters when it comes to anything in life. So if you want to become a runner, if you want to start running in 2024, consistency is what you need. So that is why you keep the pace low, you keep the distance or the time shorter, and you just go out more often. And then as you do that, you're going to notice that feels easier and easier, and you can increase the length in minutes, and you can also start adding some maybe more intense workouts, and then you'll have some slower runs when you're more tired, and you'll just find that you're getting fitter and fitter without feeling like it's more tiresome. It's the beauty of getting better at anything, right? It's less effort, yet improvement. So should you sign up for a race? A lot of people will sign up for a race and then they'll start running a lot. And I definitely get the motivation to train when you have a race, but what I'd really recommend instead is waiting with signing up for a race and instead focus on just getting in the running consistency. And then once you've been running consistently for 2 to 3 months, then maybe signing up for a race. And then instead working very strategically with adding more intensity, with adding miles, because this is how you are going to stay consistent with running for life. And that's what I'm assuming that people want, right? Sustainable habits that are going to help them. So subscribe if you want to follow my journey, and also check out my Instagram where I just share more daily content on what I'm up to. I'm also an entrepreneur. I've started a protein muffin company called Satisfied, and I'm aiming for the Olympics. So I'm sharing with my subscribers my daily training and what that looks like, and also explaining more in depth why I train the way I do. And also check out my comeback series where I just talk about everything that I'm doing to come back from my injuries. So that includes managing intensity, nutrition. I have a registered sports dietitian working with me and my supplements. I'm also going to be talking about sleep. So make sure that you check out the comeback series. I also have a series with my story. So if you want to learn more about me and how I started running my whole journey, then check that out. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.